All right, hi, welcome everybody to our Business Success Book Circle. This is week 2 of Get Over Your Damn Self by Romi Neustadt. And this is the only meeting we have this week because we were in Dallas for the regional on Saturday. So we'll be covering chapters 5 through 8 today. Thanks everyone for being here. Got people still popping on. Excited to have you all. And these are some really potent chapters. I feel like this is really getting into the meat of this business, right? Really the how-tos and the action steps of what it takes to run this business. And I've been going back over it and just reviewing. It's like I've mentioned before, I listened to this all the way through on Audible in like January, and so I've been going back through the physical book as we're going through this journey together this week, and just kind of reviewing and taking notes. And chapter 5 is just so potent for me. And I trained on one of these topics in I think it was last month. It was right after Akumal. On Renee's training around the what's in it for me. Sorry, not what's in it for me, what's in it for them. And yeah, what's in it for me? Let me talk about what's in it for me. What's in it for them? As that's like such a key piece, I really feel. And it's something that I'm really starting to integrate right now, especially as I'm in this place where I'm remaking my list. I'm like re-looking at like who haven't I been in touch with. I'm going through my Facebook friends and like who are people I haven't even thought of or talked to in like forever. I need to spend a little time doing a little bit of sleuthing, kind of getting a sense of like who these people are and what's happening in their life, so that when I reach out, I can have something that's authentic and compelling and something that can really open up a conversation. So, for me in these topics, that's been a big one. There's a lot in chapter 5 that have really stuck for me. There's her whole process, and I think we talked about this a little bit last week of, leading with the business, asking for referrals, then talking about becoming a customer when you're talking with somebody. And, I can't even say that I've totally implemented this yet. I haven't had a conversation that has really flown in that order yet. But which is great because I'm talking to people about the business and we're getting in that loop. But I really love this piece about the referrals, and it's made such a big difference in my thinking and then how I'm training my new team members as they're coming up too. So those are some of my biggest takeaways. Like chapter 5 is just so potent for me. And then I really love the way that she goes through the 3-way calls and really what's important. What will throw off a 3-way calls, ones that make them go bad, especially if you don't have a good introduction. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. I've been on a call where there wasn't a good introduction and there was the awkward silence in the beginning, and it's not that you can't overcome it, but it surely does set it up with a little bit of like as opposed to when there is a really great introduction. So lots of good things here. And that time piece, making sure that everybody's on board, that we have a limited time, 15, 25 minutes max, and really holding to that and making sure that, you have that clarity set for yourself, but your team members have that clarity as they're coming onto the call, and really honoring that time. It can be very exhausting, and I've been on that side of it too. If you have calls that just keep running over and over, and if you're trying to, keep your schedule pretty tight, pretty consistent, I've definitely had to cut off conversations and be like, I'm going to have to close this conversation because I have another call coming up. So, but I think that's ultimately, one of the things she talks about, I think in a couple of different parts in some of these chapters, is about being professional, not pushy. And I think that's something that is so important for us all to remember, right? That when we have these kind of guidelines, when we set our time, when we book from appointment to appointment, when we do these things, it's not being pushy, it's actually being professional. And that's something we have to remind ourselves, that we are professionals, that we are business owners, we are CEOs, and we need to respect our time as well as our prospects' time. So some of the things that are on my heart today as we jump in. Joanne, you wanna lead off, and then we'll go
Sure.
into sharing?
Yeah, I just want to say how grateful I am to be diving into this book. I just got the book like a month ago because of this. Prior to that, I'd only been listening on audio, which it just doesn't work. You know, it's a great intro and it will expose you to certain ideas, but you will not incorporate these ideas. You will not master them unless you, in my mind, read them, study them, reread them, restudy them, you know, really dive into the conversations that she's having, the way that she's having them. I don't know how, I don't know where this woman, I know she earned $1 million in 3 years. I don't know how many years she's been in as of now or when she wrote the book, but this is a skill set that was honed over time. And I'm sure she spent probably a lot of money studying and training with other people in coming up with these skills. So I just feel really grateful because a lot of the way that she presents things feels good to me. And it feels authentic and it feels real, and I love her humor. And it doesn't feel, you know, manipulative and I know there's other programs out there that train in ways that that don't necessarily feel good to me. So, and I've had a lot of like CEO executives tell me that they started their early careers out in network marketing, and the training that they got in building their network marketing business was absolute key in how they've gone on to run big companies since then. And I think a lot of it has to do with really, really understanding and tuning in to your people. Somebody at our conference in Dallas that was talking about, Southwest Airlines. So the guy who owns Southwest Airlines spends a certain percentage of time working every single job in every single position in his company. He works up at the counter, he works in the baggage, you know, he knows the experience of his people. And so he knows about how to create the right culture. He knows about how to create systems that work for everybody. So, you know, I feel like that's the key to this whole thing is like, people don't want to be sold to, people don't want to be recruited. I know there's people in our business who say like, I'm a hunter. I heard somebody say that this weekend. And I'm not a hunter, but I am like a transformation junkie. This is what I know about myself. I love watching people transform. I love watching people find their power. I love watching people wake up and realize and shed off their age-old stories about what they can't do and what they can't have. And that's what I love about this industry. That's what I love about this business. And I also love that it's kind of like getting sober. You don't get to get sober and stay sober unless you're willing to do some work. You don't get to build a successful network marketing team and have great relationships with a lot of people unless you're willing to do some work. It's a requirement. It's not secondary or optional. And especially if you're going to work with cannabis product, if you're going to work with a sacred plant medicine product, trust me, she's going to require you to get over your own damn self. So let's see, I'm going to bring up a few little highlights from here. So I love chapter 5. The whole conversation is about making it about them. You have to know a little bit about your prospect's pain and how this business could potentially alleviate some of their pain. And that's what you really want to highlight to them. And I love that she gives like 15 different examples of, different conversations she's having with different women. And I feel like you could literally be on the phone with somebody and be like, Dana, I see what you do. You're a superwoman with your big job and your kids. I wanted to tell you about my business because I work with so many moms like you who are juggling kids and they're demanding jobs. They're building side businesses that are growing big enough to give them more choices, including being able to leave the corporate grind. I'd love to tell you what I'm up to. And even if it's not for you, I get the feeling you're going to know some people I can help. I love that. I love that it's all about, I want to connect with people that I can help. to create more freedom, to create more abundance, to create, more and more of what they want. And that's the big thing for me is don't focus on what I want, focus on what they want. I really recommend reading all these different conversations and just practicing using them, and always saying things like, people like you, I love working with teachers like you because they're so good at being coachable and teaching others to do this really simple business. Teachers like making more money because they're underpaid and they love having the option down the road to spend more time with their own kids rather than other people's, So painting that visual picture about what's possible, what's possible with this. People have to see why it's worth it for them to put the work in to build this and what it's going to do for them on the other side. They're going to have more time with their kids. They're going to be able to pay for college. They're going to be able to pay for their kids' activities. It's going to take stress off their husband, that type of thing. So yeah, making it about them. And then in the next chapter, she talks about kind of the process of, and I know we've presented a bunch of different ways about how you share this. Sharing a brief overview about your company and your products or services, your personal story, and then, that could be a couple sentences actually, and then you ask them, are you intrigued enough to want to learn more? And potentially that's the time that you send them a video as a follow-up, right? I heard about this company a couple of years ago. I was really impressed with them because they seemed to have a product that was, superior to anything on the market. And I just resonated with the integrity of the leadership in the company, and the deep, long-standing relationships that so many of these people had with each other. And then, so not talking for too long, but constantly checking in with them. Are you intrigued to want to learn more? She talks about, excuse me, less is more. Don't overwhelm your prospect with too much content. I think this is the part we have to constantly keep reminding ourselves. And I just want to say that a lot of people.
How many people have overwhelmed somebody with information?
Everybody, yeah.
Totally.
And the other thing is, we have a lot of people in our company that are holistic practitioners. If you're a holistic practitioner, you might have to work extra hard at not doing this. I coached an acupuncturist recently, and I said, the people that you're prospecting in your business are not your clients. Stop giving them all your professional advice about what supplements they need. And that, you know what I mean? It's like we go into this space of constantly diagnosing and prescribing for people. But if you're starting out with presenting people with a business, stick with that. And if they want to hire you to be their practitioner, that's a whole separate thing. But don't sort of try to keep them separate to some degree. So after you're sending them information, she says, after reviewing everything, I know you're going to have some questions. We're having a get together tomorrow night. It'd be a great opportunity to get your questions answered. So being able to invite people to a Wednesday meeting at Alinka's house, or a meeting that you're having coming up, is a great place for something to be inviting them to after an initial lead. So she talks a lot about letting them know what to expect next. So let me tell you what we'll do next, and just kind of having a process that you lay people out through so that you're in control of the conversation. She goes all into the three-way calls, of course. I think the most important thing I got out of that was it's supposed to be 15 to 20 minutes. That's a little difficult for me. I tend to go on a little bit longer on those calls. But again, if you've got a busy professional and you're spending a lot of time on the phone, it's likely that they're going to say, I don't have time for this. So the more short and sweet that you can cover while still feeling like you're addressing the person is better. So that's what I wanted to say about three-way calls. I like the part that she talks about of objections. So I would encourage you to review that chapter. I object. I don't have time. I don't have the money. I don't know enough people. I don't want to bother my friends. I'm not a salesperson. She has a clarifying question for each one of these things, which I think it's great if we can, maybe role play this with a friend or practice these with a friend. Again, people are often giving you whatever thought comes to their mind because they feel maybe overwhelmed, maybe they feel insecure, maybe they feel some sort of internal pressure, even if it's not from you, to have to make a decision. So again, if you can just meet their objections with questions, you can guide them on their own internal process of discovering. And she says, I'm not here to convince anybody of anything. She says that on a 3-way. I'm not here to convince anybody of anything. I'm just here to share my experience and help you decide if this is a good fit for you. So that was really good for me. And let's see. I think follow-up is a huge opportunity for me in terms of having a system. I think that's really about a system where I know who I'm supposed to be following up with and when. It's not that I'm not willing to, it's that I sometimes am not organized enough to know who I'm supposed to be following up with and when. And she talks in there about leaving somebody a message like, I'm wondering if you're still interested in continuing our conversation. If you're having a hard time telling me no, please don't give it a second thought. I don't have any attachment to your decision. I've got time to briefly talk today at 8 or 10. Let me know which one works for you. So I really like that. And she also says, you told me in the past that you thought my business might be a great way for you to pay for your kids' activities or set up that college fund. So until you tell me no, I'm going to keep checking with you every so often. I like that too. You've got to know their why. So make it a point that in your initial conversations with them that you're making some notes about that, because it's going to be a part of your follow-up. And it means that you've got to be practicing really good listening skills. And in the fortunes in the follow-up, she talks about reach back reasons, and we are in a big one right now, new product. New product launches is a reach back reason. So this is a time to call people up and say, the last couple of times I've seen you at the gym, you complained about being tired. I had to reach out because we just launched a new blah, blah, blah that's clinically proven to increase energy. I think you might want to take a look. So again, it's always about them. And you're thinking about them for something that you think might really be awesome for them. So I think that's good. That was the end of chapter 9. Yeah, perfect. So I'm going to do a team coaching call Friday at 1, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about some of this stuff. So I just wanted to let you guys know that I'll be doing it on my Zoom Friday at 1. We only had 1 week to cover this one, but I'm going to do part 2 Friday at 1 on the team coaching call and continue to cover some of this stuff. So if you're going to be practicing it between now and then, I'd love to hear your guys' feedback on that. And thanks for asking me to share. Who's up next? Yeah.
Who's got a golden nugget? What their favorite takeaway is? Maybe something you've implemented and practiced and have a feedback on?
I have something.
Awesome.
I think that when she talks about the funnel and getting, like, your goal is to move people quickly through the funnel. So I feel like I've had so many people in the past that just hang out in the middle, in the maybe, in the like, I don't know, and just having that image of like when the people are stuck in the middle of the funnel, it's like constipating it. And then your emotional energy is around like, what are they doing? What do they want? And then other people are getting stuck. So it's just like, regardless of what their decision is, it's just like moving through and letting them know that, like, like Joanne was saying, I'm not emotionally attached to to whatever your decision is, but I just want to get you all the information as soon as we can, so you know if this is a fit for you either way. But like quicker, just That's really, I just love that image, just like clear the funnel.
Awesome. Yeah, it's rather get a no than just have somebody hanging out in there, right? It does, it's a drain.
And like, what could be a way, I guess a question, I'm just thinking about this woman right now. She's had all of the parts. You know, she's watched the videos, she's even watched the webinar, she's talked to Dr. Scott. She has her son on it who has had a good experience with it, and she's still not like making a decision, you know? Like, what could be a question, just, hey, have you decided what you want to do yet? Or
Do you have an appointment scheduled with her?
no, it was back to sometime this week after I went to Dallas.
Got it.
I
I
mean,
mean,
it was like that she didn't have time to make a decision.
well, I would just go back to the chapter on objections, right? There's lots of things in there,
Mm-hmm.
especially around the time, asking the question, like, well, how much time do you think this is? But, you know, I'm page 97, you know, there's a great, it's basically coming into the close, like on a scale of 1 to 10, you know, 1, you're ready to hang up the phone and run, 10, you'd like to get started today, where are you at? Right, and then just move her forward based on where she's at, and moving back into the, you know, getting, you know, 24 to 48 hours. There's a follow-up, like whatever that next step is that's necessary. Or if she, you know, if she's saying that she's in those low numbers, 1 to 4, okay, great. Sounds like it's not a very good fit for you, but I bet you know some people who are, and ask for the referrals, right? Just moving it, right? If she's, you know, this is some part where we have to kind of sense too, like if someone's just because they are afraid to say no, then let's help them say no, get to referrals, and move on.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Also, wouldn't it be good to figure out what her pain points are? See, you know, maybe she has a son to put through college, or just kind of inspire her in that way.
I mean, that's a great point. If those haven't already been addressed with all the conversations that have been had already, then yeah, just making sure you're bringing it back to what's in it for her, and you know, like how you're working with women just like her to meet the needs that she has. I have wild hair today.
My guess is when we ask people on that scale of 1 to 10, which I think is brilliant, and if they're a 1 to 4, if we say politely and nicely, it just sounds like it's not a good fit, they're either going to feel relief, and we're going to sense that, or they're going to feel pushback. No, wait. You know, so it's a great question, and a being of service, I think, is that, you know, that scale is really wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to add, I wish I had had this book 2 years ago. But on the other hand, I've made a lot of mistakes, so I get to see, you know, how to do it better. So that's good. But I want to make this book as close to a requirement for my team as I can possibly make it, because I think it's fabulous. I'll just share a couple other nuggets I took from chapters. So I've always addressed the pain points, but I never thought about getting clear about what their non-pain issues are, so that I don't have to spend much time on that. That's like, why talk about those benefits if they've already got those going in their life? That was really key for me. The gunslinger issue, you know, the knowledge that most people make their decision pretty quickly if they're going to do this. That was really helpful too. The right formula for doing those 3-way calls and having the right introduction and that whole thing was really key. That scale of 1 to 10 was really key. The what's in it for me, I used to teach that, so that wasn't new for me, but I'm really glad she's highlighting that, because I think that is really key for people. Chapter 7 on objections, I highlighted almost the whole chapter, all her different ways that she handles that. I'm just going to review that like a gazillion times, because I thought they were brilliant ways of handling it. And then like Sarah was saying, the constipation image is so great, keeping that funnel moving, getting enough fiber in the diet, fiber being, guiding them to decisions. But that raises one question that I wanted to bring to the group. We've always said, a no means really not now or not yet. And so what I usually do with people who are a no is I say, would it be okay if now and then I just dribbled you some information that I think might serve you? They usually say yes. And then I do that like maybe every week, every like 2 weeks or once a month, I dribble them something, and then I might check back every 6 months to see if their situation has changed. How do you guys handle that? Or do you just kind of erase them off the board and move on?
I think that's a great question. I mean, like I said, what I'm really taking away from this book is if someone is a no, going into referral mode. Because one, if they say yes, they're open to hearing who you're looking for, and you turn around and describe who they are to them, that reiterates that, right? And if they start coming up with a list of names of people that are interested, right, that also could potentially spark, oh, wait, right, really, I actually do know all these people. I'm happy to hand them over to you, but if they're all interested, maybe I do want to do this. Maybe I should sign up, and then they could sign up under me. I don't ever take anybody off the board completely unless, what's his name? Ray Higdon teaches this. Basically, unless somebody disqualifies themselves, like by being a jerk to you, like, or something, like they're never disqualified. Like you just keep, you just keep going back, whenever that is, moments to reach out, new information, right? Checking back in, right? And maybe it's just that you're putting them back on, you're just checking in with them every couple months, just as people, right? Just to, hey, what's up? How's it going in your life? Just to have that conversation and be listening for where those pain points might come up, right? Or listening for where something happens, right? Because then always can be like, hey, I know you weren't interested before, but here's what's happening now. Or I'm hearing, you say these things, and I'm working with people just like you who are finding success and getting these things. So yeah, I would say, like, unless somebody disqualifies themselves, unless somebody just is like a total jerk to you that you would never want to talk to them in the first place, type of a thing, then they're still on the board. Okay. It's just a matter of if and when and how you follow back up. But that, if you can get people, if we're following that method, business, referrals, customer, then hopefully you're plugging them in somewhere, right? Yep. You're plugging them in somewhere. And, if someone, they give you some referrals and then they go back in, like, that gives you some, and they refer you to someone who jumps in and starts rocking it, then at some point you go back, hey, I just want to really thank you for that referral. Such and such has been amazing. It's total rock star. My team, things are really, blowing up. Like, do you want to look at this again? Like, do you want to jump in?
Right.
Before
I contact these other 10 that you told me about?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's great.
I would never take anybody off unless they were a total jerk.
And Laura, also what Laura said, take advantage that we have a new oil.
Right.
I mean, I love no's. I don't love no's, but I appreciate it now when people say no. That way I can move on, right? Like that funnel. And now that we have a new oil, just go back to the no's and say, hey, I just want to update you on this new, even more revolutionary, just kind of freshen it up that way. I think that's a good way to revisit and see if they change their mind.
Great point.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah, I was just looking at my customer list today. All the people who have been customers, most of who are not currently active customers, they're not on auto ship. But I was like, I need to call every single one of these people and get them set up on auto delivery for Recept, because we have a new product, a cheaper product, and forthcoming, what is it? Get 3 years is free. So if you have 3 people on auto ship, 3 customers on auto ship, your product is free, whatever the average of those 3 products that auto ship are. So that's an awesome, awesome new way to be helping people. And also in the conversation, if people really are really just wanting to be a product user, but they kind of have that, oh, I don't know if I can afford this every month. Well, can you think of 3 people who would be interested in using this product too? Because if we get you set up as an affiliate and you can get 3 customers who go on auto ship, yours is free, right? You know, which would kind of then help people build into the understanding of the business. But if they can just see that there's a way for them to get their product for free every month, you know, most people can think of 3 people that would be interested in something.
Do we have a time frame for that offer?
It wasn't explicit when it was coming out. It sounds like probably in the next month or so.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Hey guys, can I ask a quick question? What's the phone number for Prime My Body?
Look in the back office. I'm not sure.
Okay.
so after the referral part, and then you're going into customer, what are, you know, that they would be a customer, what's that transition, like, how would you say?
I mean, I think she covers it in the book, right? Like, I think she gives us something. It's like I couldn't get off the phone with you without talking about our products. Like, I think you'd really love what our product is. Would you like to try that?
Okay.
Yeah. Who else has some nuggets they'd like to share, your takeaways, or maybe something you've started to implement and have some feedback on?
Hey, Kiana, I have a question. And I did get all the way through chapter 8, so it might be in there. But I'm wondering about kind of when somebody just kind of ghosts out, right? And like you've been following along, and a little like Sarah's saying, but you know, the person just stops responding, and it's like it's not a yes, it's not a no. You know, where do you go from there? How often do you send them something? Do you just send them something really pointed and say, hey, do you want to continue this conversation or not? Or like, where do you go from there?
Yeah, I think Joanne read that out of there. Joanne, where was that in? What chapter, what page was that? I think you already said it, like,
I think
basically
it was chapter 8.
having a hard time telling me no, you know, it's okay.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
in the follow-up. The fortune is in the follow-up. Let's see. Oh no, it's page 121. They've gone MIA.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Rachel says, hi, Mary. I'm wondering if you're still interested in, it says, if they don't get back to you, I'll follow up in a couple of days via text or email. With, hi, Mary, I'm wondering if you're still interested in continuing our conversation. If you're having a hard time telling me no, please don't give it a second thought. I don't have any attachment to your decision. I've got time to briefly talk today at X or X. Let me know which one works for you.
Okay.
And she's got an approach, you know, continuing from there. But she does kind of end in that next follow-up. So until you tell me no, I'm going to keep checking in with you every so often.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah,
So
because
you're telling them, like, you're totally allowed to tell me no. And if you don't tell me no, I'm going to just keep checking in once in a while.
Okay. Yeah, because it's kind of similar to Sarah's, where like, you know, we kind of did all the steps. I had a 3-way call with Scott actually, and this is a practitioner here in Tucson, and requested information. Said, yeah, I'm super interested. You've got my attention, and then just stopped responding.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, especially, you know, practitioners and stuff like that, people can get really busy. So again, I think that follow-up comes in, and that your ability to be professional follow-up, right? And just keep giving them options to connect, and then let them know that you're gonna keep following up until they tell you no.
Okay, cool, thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Who else has got to share some golden takeaways? Somebody? Anybody?
Hi there.
Hi.
I'll do a little talking. Um, very interesting. I started to put some of this in action, just not talking so much and leaving those little nuggets of interest. And it really does work, because I've had 4 people this week reach out to me by email and just calling me back here. Hey, Donna, remember you mentioned this? Hey, Donna, remember you? Can you send me more information? Can I talk to you about this? So I immediately say, sure, I'd love to talk to you about it. Tell me when. When do you have time? I have time to, and I'm using that. And you know, when you follow that code, it really does work. You know, I'm more comfortable now more than ever, because I've been reading these books and I've been, you know, practicing with friends. And yeah, it's really, the books, it gives you confidence, you know, because we know how to say these things. It's just a dance. It's learning your dance steps, basically, you know. And the best part is like what, I don't know what her name is, that pretty lady. Oh my God, these are just awesome, because this is it. I don't think I have enough time. These excuses people use, I know a few people that this is really good information, because those are the exact ones. I'm not a salesperson. I get that so much. And I said, well, this is not a sales job. I said, but you know, you work in a restaurant and aren't you selling hamburgers? You know, that kind of a thing. But this is even better, the way she proposes how to handle these people. Or the other one is, I don't want to bother my friends. Oh my God.
We've all heard them, right?
I know. It's amazing. And she's got, and the answer for everything is it's just clever and simple, you know? So I'm enjoying this and I'm putting it to practice. And the new, I did the same thing she did, is I went back through all 30 of my affiliates and customers, and I told them all about, I'm still working on the list, all about the new product, and 4 people already just got back on board.
Awesome.
Signed back, got active. I had my girl from Canada, and just using the tools in this book, simple tools, I have recouped 6 people in 1 week. I'm so excited, right? I'm so excited. Thought I'd share.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks, ladies.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so when you were sharing that, there's 2 things that came up. One, that like picking the time and giving time options, that's something that I actually learned. Some of you know, I did network marketing technically, and when I was 19 years old, I was with the Pampered Chef for 3 years. I was not a top income earner, but I was a consistent income earner. I worked my business, I worked a system, I worked it consistently. And in that model, it was about having parties, getting people to host a kitchen show in their house. And so the way that I did that is like I literally would have my calendar, my month calendar. I would have highlighted boxes on the nights that I was available to do shows. And when someone said they wanted to do a show, I would literally open it up and be like, here are my dates that are available. And I would pick the first 2. Which one's better for you, this one or this one? And if that didn't work for them, then we would just go down the line. So that giving somebody like I'm available this time or this time, maybe 3 options, is so key. And then we were talking about the objections. I was just thinking like, it probably would be really good to write those on index cards and like have those, right? So almost even like your own kind of memorization of it, have it maybe by your desk when you're talking to somebody. You know, if somebody's like pulls that up, you're like, oh, here's that objection around the pyramid, like pull that out. So you have that right in front of you. Might be a little bit more handy than finding it.
Great idea.
Yeah. You know, and maybe even something that like you give to your new affiliates, right? Like maybe you print those in and have them or handwrite them and say, here, you know, here's your stack of objection responses. Here's some things for you to be practicing and having on hand for you.
I think it's a very good idea.
Yeah. Congratulations on the new peeps background. I've got some follow-ups to do as well.
Kiana, I just wanted to share for everybody a success I had last week leading with the business. That was the first time success for me 2 years in. And that is after sending Dr. Aaron's 20-minute presentation, on the very next phone call with this woman, she was ready to begin because of me pitching the business to meet her needs, which is, you know, a certain income stream, et cetera. And she signed up with me on the phone right there with a big pack. That's the first time that's ever happened to me. So easy. I know. And I just wanted to share that because I think the confidence and the mindset of this book really helped me. And I just wanted to share the success.
Yay! Awesome. I love it.
Can be easy, magical.
That's right. Right. It's work, but it can be easy, magical, fun work.
Yeah.
Great. Who else?
I'll do a quick share.
Great.
So I got back from Dallas and just feel like completely reactivated, right? Because we had all this amazing information and just connecting into our leaders, and again, just getting more clarity about Recept, and it's going to be in our hands any minute. So I feel like I got home and just looked at my list and then implemented these tools and did exactly what this book outlined. Initiated a phone conversation by sending a text and saying, hey, I want to pick your brain about something. Are you available to chat in the next day or two? Evenings work fine for me. What's best for you? And I immediately got a text back. This woman was off work and she said, I'm free today, the rest of the day. And I said, great. How about in 15 minutes? And it was just seamless. It was like the tennis match back and forth in, you know, a total of 20 minutes later, I was on the phone with her and she's in the funnel, but I'm feeling really motivated and clear. And now I'm just kind of like, how funny that it's taken me, you know, a year and a half to do this so seamlessly. But it was just such a good reminder of like not to beat ourselves up about the way that we wish we would have done things. It's like how great that we have the tools and now we're putting them into practice. So I love hearing all of your success stories because we have everything we need. So let's just keep it rolling.
Awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
You know,
Okay. That's so great, Kendra. I love it.
Yep. It's funny. I was just having the same conversation with one of my affiliates, saying the same thing. That when I first started, and you know, Kiana. I mean, when I first met Kiana, I mean, I first started was almost 2 years ago, and we didn't have anything we have now. And I mean, wow. I don't know. I commend you, gals. You know, Joanne and Kiana and Jeffers. I mean, how they just built with nothing but created all this great stuff for us in such a short time, which has allowed us to really be confident and knowing that we have all this backup. So yeah, it's amazing what we have now compared to what, I mean, we didn't have none of this when I first started, barely a back office. So yeah, thanks to you lovely ladies. Awesome.
Yeah, thank you. All right, we've got 12 more minutes and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people we haven't heard from. You got a couple minutes each of you, something to share?
We really want to hear from everybody. Great.
I want to share. So I really like the reach out rules that chapter 5. And how she goes over just talking. So I started doing leading with the business first, like that order of things, and it totally works. It's been working. Even got drivers email on my way to the Dallas airport. And reached out to some people at the airport, and they were like, yeah, I'll look at the business. Like people I talked to before about the product, that they were always interested in the business, but I hadn't led with that. And now I'm like revisiting them and saying, hey, they have an upgraded oil. Do you want to look at it again? And they're like, yes, exclamation point. I'm like, awesome. So now I just got to fill my schedule, and it's feeling way better. And I don't know, there's been a shift, and I'm so excited for this evolution.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Awesome. Leading with the
Yep,
business.
lead with the
I think it's so big for all of us, right? And that was one of the things I even shared on stage, you know, not just even from this book, but just because of this incredible opportunity that we have with the deregulation and all of that. Like, it just makes so much sense that we're leading with that big opportunity first and then able to bring it back down.
That's kind of how I'm starting that conversation, is the mentioning and reminding them, or asking if they're aware of the deregulation. And they're like, yes. And some are like, no. And then, you know, I don't vomit information, but just enough for them to be like, yeah, I want to hear more, you know? So it's awesome. It's an awesome way to go about it. That's all I wanted to share.
Awesome. Thanks, Alyssa. Who else? Can we hear from Mary or Tara or Leanna or Mimi?
I'll share.
Great. Oh, Maddie, yes.
I love the book. She's hilarious, and I think it resonates so much, obviously, with what we're doing. But the fact that we have fucking the best hemp oil in the world, we're not selling. Nothing against people who sell the cosmetics, Mary Kay, whatever. They're doing great too. We have fucking hemp oil. Like, we need every single human being down to a fly could take hemp oil. And I think it excites me so much. And I just love her tone of voice and just how she explains that, like, it's the time. This is the time. Like, and we not only have the hemp oil, we have the crypto. We have, it's like a miracle that's coming true. And I'm kind of going off topic, but that's just what I got so far from chapter 1 through 9. But I really appreciated in chapter 6 about the flow of the call. Because I tend to, like we were talking about earlier, I tend to like vomit like information because I get so excited and I'm like, and this and this and this and this. And then I definitely turn people off, I'm sure, or at least my family says I do. So it helps, it really helped me kind of format now, and it makes me feel more confident that, you know, like, take just 1 minute to introduce your prospect, and then, you know, and then my upline will take over. And so that just gave me a lot of confidence. And then just the clear goals for the 3-way call, like enroll a new business partner, book a follow-up, and ask for referrals and sign them up as a customer on auto ship. So I really like that. She reminds me a lot of Brene Brown too, where it's just like, fuck yes. Sorry, I swear a lot. I'm going to try to, sorry. But it's just so real. And you can relate to so much that she says, because how even too in the beginning, how she says, you know what, I said some stupid things. I felt stupid a lot of the times. And so that kind of gives me confidence, because I feel stupid or I used to feel stupid. So anyway, so that's my share.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Love it, Maddie. I love the passion. I'm excited to see you all fired up. Awesome.
Thank
you. Guys, we have fucking hemp oil.
The best. The best
fucking hemp oil.
Guys, how do you, going to what Maddie just said, how do you, I mean, I've said a lot of stupid things too. I've vomited a lot of information too. And I, like everyone here, I wish I could go back. How do you go back to reaching out to those people where you vomited things? And I mean, a few months ago, I sent every freaking video that we have on the Pulse app to someone, like within 5 minutes. I'm like, what am I doing? And I told her they're only 30 seconds, but watch them all. So how do you go back? I mean, I know the verbiage. I've told them, I've been honest, like, hey, I'm sorry. I get so excited with this topic, but let me start over. But do you go back to those people? And if so, what's your verbiage?
Totally, that's what it is. I think she covers it in the reasons to reach out. I think she does in the book. But it's basically, it's just like,
I'm a little
You
behind.
have a redo? You just straight asked for a redo. I got really excited. I bet I totally overwhelmed you. You probably didn't think you'd ever want to talk to me again. I'm totally sorry. I've learned some things. Can I have a redo so we can so I can have a real conversation? I'm just asked for the redo.
And it might depend too on who you're talking to. Is this somebody who's your friend, or is this somebody you just met? Right?
Yeah.
Like if it's your friend, then I would have a non-business conversation. Like, how are you? And just focus on them for a while. And eventually the time will arise and she'll say, how's your business? And you'll be like, you know what? My biggest problem is not getting overly too excited about it and overwhelming people. Did I do that to you? You know? But what you can say is, like, every day I get a testimonial from somebody that makes me cry. And it's hard for me to not feel like, oh my God, everybody must have this right now. You know, I had a conversation today with this woman who's like, she's not having seizures anymore. You know, she's had brain surgeries and tumors and seizures, and it's been debilitating. And our oils changed her life. I mean, it's understandable that we get very emotional and talk too much. So it's easy to explain and then just readjust to yourself. Yeah.
I'm just flipping through because I thought she did cover about reset, and maybe I remember hearing her talk about it, so maybe later in the book somewhere.
Yeah.
But as I was peeking through, page 119, Sarah, look at page 119 as well. It all sounds great, but she just can't decide. Help her go through give her some homework to put them through the decision-making process.
Hi guys, it's Tara.
Hi Tara.
Hi guys. So I don't really have anything beneficial to add, but I wanted to pop in because Joanne said to, and I am a good little soldier. I do what I'm told. And that's why I'm going to rock this business. I just consistently show up. I'm coachable. I do what I'm told, and success leaves clues. So here I am. And I guess the reason why I don't have anything really profound to add is because to me, the book just makes so much sense. I'm a double Capricorn. I'm the most practical person. So to me, it's like, duh. And just this like very easy to follow, simple steps, like your little, diagram. So it's like, well, duh, like, okay, well, like, I'm more using this as accountability for me to read it. I'm like, okay, it's great that we're discussing it, but I'm definitely like, okay, got it, moving on. You know what I mean?
Awesome.
Thanks for doing it, you guys. It was good to see you in Dallas.
Good to see you, Tara. Thanks for being with us.
Yeah.
Got a few more minutes. Leanna, you want to close us out? I think you're the only, Leanna and Mary. We haven't heard from either of you. Either of you want to close us out? Both of you? Oh, Mary, you're muted.
I have to unmute myself. Well, first of all, Dallas was great for me because I feel like it just really invigorated me to, really, really jump in, not even jump back in, but really jump in. And when I started listening to the book on Audible, and when I got it, the thing that made so much sense to me is to lead with the business, because I just feel like that's more comfortable for me. So I'm a little lagging on the chapters, but I wanted to get on this call just to get on the call. So I'm just recommitted. That's what I want to say. Yeah.
And I'm excited to see what happens as you get out there leading with the business.
Yeah.
Good report for us next week.
Yeah. And money, I think, money motivates me. That's probably why I sell real estate. But money motivates me. So I think leading with the business for me is almost more comfortable than leading with a product. Yeah. So I'll work on it. I'll work on the whole picture.
Totally. I had a conversation with my accountant last night, who I've been working with for 2 years, and she every once in a while says stuff of like, I might have to talk to you someday, right? And I've gifted her product and all of these things. And I was telling her about the new product last night, and I sampled it to her. And she was like, I just don't know how I would sell this. She's like, that's the only reason I haven't approached you about this. And I said, you don't sell the product. I'm like, you put together a team of people who sell the product. I'm like, you just get me in front of people who are looking for an opportunity. And she goes, oh. She's like, okay, I think we're going to have to talk about this. I was like, great, we'll talk about it after tax season. Because she's like working from like 8 a.m. to like 3 a.m. right now, something ridiculous. But she was like, okay. And it just like, it all of a sudden clicked for her. Like, oh, I don't have to go try to sell 1 million bottles of oil. I just need to put this in front of the opportunity, in front of a handful of people who can see what this is all about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, it's 3 o'clock, but Leanna, I'm curious if you want to share. I'd love to hear from you. Maybe you're in a place where you're just listening in, you can't talk. All right, Leanna, I'm gonna let you have the hook. All right, so thanks everyone for being here. Joanne, you wanna tell us again, you're gonna do a team training on Friday at 1 Pacific, is that right?
Yep, 1 Pacific on my Zoom. I'll post it today. Sarah Haywood and I are also doing a 20-minute launch presentation today at 5 on her Zoom, which I posted on WhatsApp. You guys can invite people to that.
Great.
She says she's going to max it out, so I'm excited. And yeah, we'll do a team training 1 o'clock Pacific Friday, and we'll go over this stuff too.
Okay, great. Sounds good. And then so Saturday at 10 a.m. Mountain Time, 9 a.m. Pacific, we'll have our next circle, which will be covering the next set of chapters, which is what, 9 through 12. Is that right? I think so. Yeah, 9 through 12. So that'll be Saturday, and then again on Tuesday at 1 p.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Mountain. We'll cover those chapters again. So, again, get your teams on this, get your teams reading, plugged in, share the information, train them, invite them to join in. If people want to jump in with this, I think that's totally fine, and let's rock this. Recept is here. Any day, we should be hearing something from Mr. Paul Rogers about a brand new something special. So keep your eyes on your inbox and plug into company calls this week. All right, you guys, have a beautiful week.